Welcome to this explainer. We're about to take a pretty incredible journey, going straight from the freezing, brutal winters of ancient Scandinavia right into the modern living room. We're looking at the legendary Norwegian Forest Cat, or as it's known in its homeland, the Skog cat. It's actually one of the most searched cat breeds on Earth, but surprisingly, it's also one of the least understood. Let's fix that.
We've got to start with a hook straight out of Norse mythology. So the 13th century prose Edda describes the goddess Freya traveling in a chariot, and that chariot is pulled by two massive cats. Well, Nordic folklorists widely believe those supernatural felines were none other than the Norwegian forest cat. I mean, they were literally the only large, powerful domestic cats native to Scandinavia at the time. Makes perfect sense, right?
Section 1. Myths of the North. A legendary origin.
To really get this creature, you have to understand that this cat wasn't engineered in some modern pedigree program. Not at all. They're what's known as a landrace breed. Basically, Mother Nature was the breeder here. Centuries of punishing Scandinavian winters, naturally selected for pure survival traits. We're talking massive bodies for thermal mass and incredibly thick, waterproof coats. Literally only the strongest and best adapted cats survived.
And their history is just wild. It's incredibly ancient, almost got wiped out entirely, and was saved by a deliberate rescue effort. If we trace it back, archaeological evidence from sites like Birka proves they actually worked as mousers on Viking longships. Fast forward to World War II, though, and the breed faced near extinction because of crossbreeding during the occupation. But thankfully, a dedicated rescue program stepped in to rebuild the pure type. This led to official recognition by FIF in 1977, and then, just 2 years later, King Olav V officially crowned it Norway's national cat.
Let's peel back the mythology a bit. Section 2, Built for the Forest, Biological Adaptations.
Okay, get this. Their maturation timeline is 4 to 5 years. While the males can reach a mass of 9 kilograms, they don't actually hit their full adult size and muscle density until they're 4 or 5 years old. That is unusually slow, even for a large breed. So you might look at a 2-year-old male and think he's fully grown, but nope, he's going to keep adding substantial muscle mass for another 2 to 3 years. But their absolute ultimate survival mechanism? It's the coat. It's not just long, it is structurally specialized. Underneath, they have this dense, woolly undercoat that traps air to keep them incredibly warm. And over that, they have these long topcoat guard hairs that are naturally coated in sebum or oils. Because of this oil, water just beads up and runs right off, exactly like a seabird's feathers. It's actually not an exaggeration to say that a Norwegian forest cat caught in a rainstorm remains functionally dry right down to the skin.
And adding to all that legendary folklore, check out this adaptation. They are one of the only domestic cats in the world capable of climbing down a tree head first. They actually possess rotating hind ankles that let them grip the tree bark while facing straight down. It's pretty amazing, and it is the exact physical basis for their supernatural reputation in all those Norse myths.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Section 3, the feline doppelganger, NFC versus Maine Coon. How exactly do you tell this ancient Norse cat apart from its really famous look-alike? While the definitive visual test is all in the profile, the breed standard dictates that the Norwegian forest cat absolutely must have a perfectly straight line from its forehead down to its nose. Zero break. The Maine Coon, on the other hand, has a slight curve, or a visible nose break. On top of that, the Norwegian forest cat has a head shaped like an equilateral triangle, and high-set ears that were originally adapted to keep snow out, whereas the Maine Coon's face is quite a bit more rectangular. Moving from the wild Scandinavian forests right into your home. Section 4. A dog-like companion, temperament, and loyalty.
So the biggest surprise for new owners is usually what we call the assessment before engagement period. When you bring them home, or even when a stranger just walks into the room, these cats will sit back and quietly observe everything before making a move. A lot of people mistake this for being shy, but it's really not. It's a highly intelligent assessment. Once they decide you're okay, that you're their person, they lock in and they show this incredibly deep, specific loyalty.
Seriously, their dog-like loyalty is legendary. They will greet you specifically at the front door, they can learn to fetch, and they'll happily follow you from room to room. But keep in mind, they're what's known as proximity cats. That means they definitely want to be near you, just not necessarily sitting right on your lap. And this specific type of behavior wasn't cooked up in a modern breeding facility. It actually developed over 1,000 years of working closely, side by side with humans, on Norwegian farmsteads.
Before you rush out to get one, we need a reality check on what day-to-day life actually looks like. Section 5. The reality of ownership, health, and grooming.
Look, their coat is absolutely beautiful, but it's demanding. You have to commit to a structured grooming routine. It's non-negotiable. You're looking at a daily slicker brush, a weekly wide-tooth comb to really get down into that thick undercoat, plus your monthly maintenance. But here is the kicker. The spring molt from March to May is explosive. The cat literally transforms, shedding just a massive volume of fur. If you don't do daily, intensive brushing during this window, you will see huge mats form in their coat in under 48 hours.
Now, regarding their health, there is one major genetic condition you absolutely have to know about. It's called glycogen storage disease type 4, or GSD IV. Sadly, it is fatal, and it's completely exclusive to the Norwegian Forest Cat breed. But there is great news here. Thanks to the Pawpeds Health Program that launched back in 2008, responsible breeders can now guarantee healthy kittens through simple DNA screening of the parents. So it is 100% preventable, as long as you do your homework.
With the right care, this breed actually has a really robust lifespan of 14 to 16 years. Naturally, this means doing that thorough genetic testing for GSD IV, but also getting regular echocardiograms to keep an eye out for heart conditions like HCM. And by the way, HCM actually just recently saw its first FDA conditionally approved treatment, which is a massive win.
So it really comes down to this. Is this ancient companion the right fit for you? You have to remember, they are not hypoallergenic. They absolutely demand vertical space to exercise those wild climbing instincts, and they really need your time for that serious grooming commitment we talked about. But if you've got the time and the dedication, they are incredibly intelligent, deeply engaged companions that are just fantastic for families.
Ultimately, the Norwegian Forest Cat isn't just some heavy, fluffy pet. It's literally a living piece of Nordic history. This is a landrace survivor shaped by ice and stone, just waiting to quietly assess you, confidently choose you, and bond with you for a lifetime. Think about it. If you had the chance to share your living room with a creature straight out of Viking mythology, would you be ready for the commitment?